Cartridge Crusaders. Cool. Dash. Start.
You know what, Crumb? I think we need to broaden our horizons.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I've had the itch for a while to check out one of the big conventions out there. The time is right to go to Texas. I'm saying we need to go to Retropalooza.
We ended up getting to the convention center right before it opened. Once we walked in, it was pretty cool seeing the way they had everything set up, the vendor tables and everything.
Right when you walk in the main entrance, bam, right there, YouTube Alley.
You had everybody from Pat the NES Punk to JHMDF,
GameSack, of course the Game Chasers, OK Chief 420. It's like they're all right there. No longer are they confined to my computer screen. In the back corner of the room, they had 2 arcade sticks, and it was a great setup. You felt like you were right in an arcade.
It definitely had an old school, early 90s fighting game arcade scene feel. Like everybody was getting into the fighting games. They had Killer Instinct going, Street Fighter 2, King of Fighters. I think it was 98? No, it was a newer one maybe.
Yeah, we were playing King of Fighters 98, even though neither of us knew a single freaking thing about it.
When you go to a convention, it's gonna be hard to find a super duper deal. Like I'm talking $2 Dracula X, in a bargain bin or something.
Right, you can basically expect to be paying retail. The thing is, I don't think everybody got the memo on that.
This is a 5-screw copy of baseball. Bought this repro label on eBay, and I had about 400 or 500 $2 games over here, and so I would slide this into the mix of the games, just so people would try to bring it up and try to buy it for $2. I had about 40 people bring it up and try to buy it, slide it in the bottom of the pile, and be like, I'll take these 8 here, and it's, of course, it's not for sale, it's not real. I'm not that kind of guy, so, but it was pretty funny of everybody trying to buy it for $2.
Nice. There was a guy there who recognized us. It wasn't just anybody either. It was Grimsy42.
Anyways, we got something for you, buddy. We know you follow the channel, and we appreciate that, and we watch your stuff as well.
Appreciate it.
And this is our first convention, but we've seen you come to these before.
Oh yeah.
And there's one particular moment where somebody walks up to the Game Chasers and gives them a gift, and your jaws drop to the ground.
Yeah, I got called Grimsy52 for a while after that.
But anyways, Dash couldn't be here. You know his trade, he's good at making repros.
Yeah.
So he wanted you to have this.
What?
And that is all yours.
That is awesome, dude. That is freaking cool.
Yeah.
This is badass. Appreciate it very much.
Super awesome guy. If we lived a little bit closer, I know we would be hanging out on a consistent basis.
Well, you know, speaking of that, there was actually some talk. You know, we're somewhat close within range, but we're saying we can meet in the middle and get a little collaborationes going.
You know what I thought it was going to be? I thought you were going to pull out a card with my stupid face on it, that sad face, and call it Grimsy 52. There's a shirt that mocks somebody around here has. It says Grimace 42, and it's got Grimace on it.
It's Saturday, the first day here, and we want to go to this first panel that's going on with Scott Squatch and Katie, Grimsy 42, Wood from Beat 'em Ups. It was a really good panel. I'm sure you'll see more footage of it on their channels. They gave really good tips on where to find good deals, different perspectives of, you know, being the guy out there at a flea market trying to find the super deals, and then being on the other end of it, being a seller and giving out fair deals.
The panels in general were really great. I tried to hit up as many as possible.
OK Chief's panel was great. He had some very inspirational words that I can honestly say got me motivated to want to start pumping out more videos.
He put on an awesome panel about Divers Nation.
You were saying, like, this is your second year at Retropalooza,
This is the
right?
second year of Retropalooza. First year for Scott Grimsy 42. It just gets bigger and better every year. The vendor events has doubled in size. The number of guests has doubled. It's just been an all-around great experience here with the fans. The vendors are awesome. The guests are awesome. We're all having a great time. I hope it triples in size come the third year.
You talking about that, though, you said it gets bigger and better, it's going to triple in size. That kind of makes me think of Eric's mom.
Hello!
He's a really great guy if you ever get a chance to meet him.
One of my favorite panels of the whole show was the one put on by Patrick Scott Patterson.
And Ben Gold, you may know him from the documentary Chasing Ghosts.
Yeah, how many times have you seen that documentary?
Probably upwards of 4 or 5 times, maybe, I don't know. Like, I was really into it when that first came out.
After the panel, we were able to flag PSP down, and we had a pretty good conversation with him.
Hey everybody, we're at Retropalooza 2014, and we're here with Patrick Scott Patterson, who just held a panel here about the preservation of video games, which is a very important topic, and Crum and I are huge fans of classic arcade games and all that. PSP has been a prominent figure in that for years now. I just thought I would ask him, this is I guess for a lot of collectors out there, you guys mentioned a couple times in the panel that electronics do decay. Do you think collectors have to worry about accumulating a bunch of old cartridges, and then just with the passage of time it's going to get to the point where they become useless and they don't play any longer?
That is a very real, kind of fear. And in some cases, like with the arcade games, you're already there. I think it's actually going to get worse with like disc-based games. Another place that it already exists too is old personal computers, diskettes and stuff like that. A lot of that stuff is already kind of rotting away and going away. It's something that's kind of unique. Baseball collectors don't have to deal with that. Comic book collectors don't have to deal with that. But it still means to me that at least the cartridges and the consoles and stuff like that are still worth preserving, even if that day comes where those fail. You'll have emulators, you'll always be able to play those games on that sort of thing. But I still think the actual artifacts and stuff still need to be preserved, and who knows, maybe there'll be a market someday for bringing these things back to life.
I would just say I think we have a ton of interests in common. We could have probably kept on talking to him for hours if I didn't feel like I was going to be holding him hostage.
One of my favorite parts of talking to PSP was just hearing him mention, because he saw my shirt, my NWC shirt, and he was like, hey, cool shirt. He went on to say how he was in the tournament. I asked him what age bracket he was in at the time. I think he was in the youngest age bracket. It was awesome hearing that story from him and hearing about Thor Ackerlund playing there as well. And I believe he's from the area somewhere around Arlington. I'm not 100% sure, but...
Wait a minute, can't you see I got the Do Not Disturb sign? We're all finished up with Retropalooza. Come take a look at what I got. This is my trunk with the goods. It was such a great convention. They had all kinds of cool stuff. Starting out, this is one of the first things I bought, and I'm not really sure why I did it for 10 bucks. I didn't even get my haggle on, but whatever. Spider-Man for the Genesis. I bought one of these, again for 10 bucks, and I did not haggle, but I'm sick of bothering Crumb to use his because these things work so good. I highly recommend them. Right here at the end of the convention, I just was going around to all these different vendors looking for Dreamcast games. Nothing here really stands out too much, but there are 7 games I didn't have, and this is 7 games for like 15 bucks. So what you hear about fire sales at the end of conventions, like, that's true. These were listed for 3 apiece, but at the end, the final day, I got them for 5. I consider these like the best GBA cases available. Got to meet GameSack. They were really awesome people. I got a chance to talk to them on a couple different occasions. Check out their channel if you've never seen it before. They had a vendor that was, I think, based in Chicago, and they have an internet store. I forget where their business card is, but I bought this just to say I have a Super Famicom game, and I wanted to get the alternate names on the bosses at the end of the game for the Boxer, Claw, and Dictator. First Turbo game I bought at the convention, Alien Crush Loose. I think I got that for like 9 bucks. Mutant League Football. I think that's less than what Rob paid for it. Go figure. One of my coolest things I purchased towards the end of the day from a YouTuber. This is a flash cart for Super Nintendo. This is gonna be awesome though. And I lost my Mario Duck Hunt from when I was a kid, so I thought I needed this. And I got the Perler. Oh, but wait, it's the Evolution, baby.
Well, I only ended up picking up a couple games from Retropalooza 2, but that's okay because I got some quality titles here and from some awesome people as well. My first pickup actually was from the wonderful Scott Squatch from JHMDF Video Game Sellers. I saw Scott pick this game up a couple weeks back, and I had to have a copy because how can you get better than Motley Crue Pinball, basically? Just the fact alone that I got it from Scott Squatch himself just makes it 10 times better, so thank you, Scott Squatch. He gave it to me for 10 bucks. I thought that was a really good deal. I've been looking for all the Resident Evil remakes on GameCube. I only have the first one, which I'm totally cool with that. I love that game. I was obsessed with it on PS1 when it came out. In all honesty, I do enjoy 2 more, and for whatever reason, I could just never find this version of the game anywhere. And then my biggest pickup from Retropalooza 2 definitely has to go to Zombie Nation. I actually did not buy 2 different cartridges for this game. I saw this cartridge right here sitting at a vendor booth. He went on to tell me that it's the actual game board, but he's like, yeah, you know what, it was in like a crappy label copy when I found it, so he decided to put the actual game board into a reproduction label cart. But the fact that he gave me the original copy here, so if I decide to like put the actual game board back in, I'm totally cool with that. To be honest with you, I'm probably gonna do that because as much as I like good quality labels on games and stuff, with a game of this caliber, I don't really want to be running around with the repro label copies, so I think I might just get the actual game back into the original cart from where it came from.
It is the closing of the convention, and the last panel is winding down. This was not just any panel. You had every guest up there who was still at the show got to be up there for the final panel. It was pretty much a sight to see. And then once that was done, there was kind of like just this general meet and greet with everybody who was up there saying their goodbyes.
We were talking to Grimsy, kind of saying our goodbyes and everything, and here comes Dodongo and Wayne, aka Floating Head Guy. Dodongo greets Grimsy with this really freaking sweet art piece that he did of actually Little Samson. We got to talking for like a little bit, and Dodongo's just like, hey man, you guys want to come back and hang out?
And we were just like, yes. We got to hang out at his house, and it was really laid back. We had a good time. We got to try out my Super Mario Repro cart.
That was a blast getting to play Nintendo games with them. I actually brought my Zombie Nation that I got, and they had never heard of that game before. and playing that was fun with them too. It was freaking hilarious.
My personal highlight was, after all of that, Dodongo pulls out this game. Dude, nobody gets down on Archon like the Cartridge Crusaders. It was just a blast. The fact that he enjoys this game as well. If you're not familiar with it, it's like primitive chess that gets rid of all the complex rules, and you actually play out all the battles, but they're really simplistic and silly, and you can just have like a good time with it.
And Scott basically was just destroying everybody, and I was getting stomped.
I mean, I'm not trying to ruin anybody's fun or anything. Retropalooza had over 800 people this year, and I think the future is really bright. We came all the way from Ohio, which is a pretty long distance, and I would say it was well worth it. We had a great time there, and I hope to see some of those guys again.
Big ups to the Game Chasers for throwing the event. If it wasn't for those guys, that event wouldn't even have been happening, and they're just a huge inspiration to all of us other YouTubers out there.
To the Cartridge Crusader, I say thank you for coming down all the way from Ohio. Yeah, all the way to Texas. That's awesome, everyone. So hopefully we'll see you guys here next year. You know damn well we'll be here. Thank you guys for coming to the panel. That was awesome. They made it. Fucking Grimsy didn't make it.
He wasn't here, that loser.